Two wheels, as we caught up with a cyclist who's travelled through the whole of Russia on his own. But Yevgeny Ostapenko hasn't quenched his thirst for adventures and plans more extreme journeys. Here's my report on his latest amazing feat.
Yevgeny has developed quite a following over the last year or so. 1.5 years and 19,000 kilometres after he started his journey in Moscow, he finally arrived at his destination in Skvorodino, which is in Russia's far east. And he told his many fans about his wonderful experience.
I remember when the temperature would drop sharply and I was psychologically completely unprepared for this. I had to cope with this situation and find a way to come through this, and I feel a stronger person for managing to achieve this. There were also moments when I was just touched by people's kindness. I would be tired and completely soaked, and strangers would invite me into their houses to keep warm and would feed me and would even let me spend the night there.
The whole trip took Yevgeny, who only took up cycling 7 years ago, across the whole of Russia and also a large section of Central Asia. He didn't have any sponsorship, and the whole trip cost him in the region of $30,000. However, the 42-year-old, who also works for Microsoft, said it was an amazing experience to see so many wonderful sights.
I really enjoyed the mountains and lakes. If I was to pick out two of my high points, these would be the Issyk Lake in Kyrgyzstan and Lake Baikal, of course. I found Siberia very unforgiving as the weather was constantly changing.
The Russian undertook his journey alone, and it was the feeling of being completely isolated on occasions that gave him the most to think about.
I remember when I was up a 1 kilometre high mountain and I was completely alone. I knew I had to be so careful and not make any mistakes, as there would be no one who could save me. It would be better for me to take an hour longer, but make sure that I was safe. I also remember last winter, I was travelling for 7 days and didn't see a single person. I had to make sure that my plan was foolproof, otherwise I could die.
Yevgeny travelled light with a tent, satellite phone and a gas stove always with him. Thankfully, he did not pick up any serious injuries, though did suffer from sitting in his saddle for hours upon end. And he recalled how he felt when he finally managed to cross the finish line.
I just remember thinking, I am so happy. I have finally done this. It was a victory.
It's difficult to comprehend just what an amazing achievement Yevgeny has accomplished. 18 months and 19,000 kilometres covered doesn't really put this feat into complete perspective, as he had to endure some very unforgiving terrain and temperatures which drop well below freezing. However, he still has ideas about his next adventures, saying he'd love to cycle across India, and from North America, right down to Tierra del Fuego, at the bottom of Argentina. Richard Van Portfleet, RT, Moscow.